What's up guys, hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to be walking you through the Lunar Plunge 2021 event questline for Trove. I'll also be covering any additional information or tips that I have on limited time event drops and more. The description of this video will have timestamps named after each step of the event questline, so feel free to check those out to skip to specific parts of the event. This event lasts until August 24th, 2021 at 7 AM Eastern Standard Time. All in all, this event has some awful descriptions for the event questline, which will likely confuse a ton of new players. Aside from that issue, the rewards are pretty decent, but I personally recommend grabbing them since the event isn't too difficult. You'll get some dragon coins, some lunar souls, and some decent cosmetics, with nothing too special being gifted to you in the event quests. I was also able to farm for the most expensive item in the shop in about an hour, so I'm pretty satisfied with the fact that the event isn't super grindy. To start things off, first visit the Lunar Knight Qubesly on the east side of the hub world and interact with him. This will complete the first step of the event questline and will reward you with 15 dragon coins. The next step can be completed immediately afterwards by exiting out of the Lunar Knight's menu and interacting with him again. The third step of the questline is also very easy to complete, as you simply have to head to the Fey Forest world to talk to the Adventure Giver at an outpost. After talking to the Adventure Giver at an outpost, you'll finally get to actually do something in this event aside from simply talking to NPCs. Step 4 says that you have to defeat 10 Shadow Giants, which is pretty awful since these enemies are annoying to farm regularly. Good news is that the text is a complete lie, and the quest actually only requires you to obtain 10 Eyes of Qubesly by any means. The easiest way to get this done is to buy Eyes of Qubesly on the marketplace, which I don't recommend since prices are rising for them. Or you can simply loot collect equipment to get eyes. I personally went into an Uber 9 adventure world and farmed until I got a few resplendent and shadow rarity weapons. Then I loot collected them to get the eyes that I needed. The fifth part of the event questline requires you to collect 10 tainted lunar drops, which can be found scattered around the surface in the Fey Forest biome. These are pretty easy to find since you can pretty much just head over to the Uber 1 Fey Forest world and run around collecting whatever stars you find. I'll also be leaving a link in the description to a mod that adds a little waypoint above the stars. If you know how to install mods manually, feel free to download that, but if you don't know how to install mods manually, you'll honestly be fine without the mod. At some point in the future, I'll make a tutorial on how to manually install mods, but I currently have around 4 to 5 videos that I'm working on, so that probably won't happen for a few weeks. Anyways, for step 6, simply go back to the hub and interact with the Sun Acolyte on the east side of the hub world, to the right of where the Lunar Knight Qubesly is. The reward for this is actually pretty neat, so I figured I'd showcase it briefly before we move on to the next step. It gives you an ally called the Star Trail, which is pretty awful stat-wise, but visually it's a neat concept. It's basically just 3 floating stars that bob up and down with some nice particle effects surrounding it. Moving on to step 7, to the right of the Sun Acolyte in the hub, there will be a Radiant Dayspring crafting bench. Use the crafting bench to create a cleansed lunar drop with 5 Eyes of Qubesly and 5 tainted lunar drops. Step 8 requires you to walk a few feet to the left of the crafting bench you just used to talk to the Lunar Knight Qubesly again. For step 9, you have to purchase either of the 2 banners from the Lunar Knight Qubesly's shop. They're both pretty much the same, but I ended up buying the Wishful Thinking banner since the description is probably the best description I've read out of any item in the entire game. To purchase one of these banners, you're going to need 5 cleansed lunar drops, which requires a total of 25 Eyes of Qubesly and 25 tainted lunar drops. After you've obtained 5 cleansed lunar drops, head to the shop and buy the banner of your choice. Step 10 is to defeat 20 more Shadow Giants, so we're going to be taking the exact same approach we took for step 4. We're not actually going to be killing Shadow Giants, and instead are simply going to be obtaining 20 Eyes of Qubesly by loot collecting Resplendent and Shadow gear. For the 11th and final step of the questline, you have to claim your QT Rex mount from your claims menu, then equip it and press the mount button. This will complete the final step of the event questline. There is a bit more to this video though, as I wanted to share a few extra tips that I noticed about the event. First things first, I wanted to point out that pretty much everything from this event is untradable, which kind of sucks. The only tradable items out of the few we can get in this event are the 2 banners. Everything else is completely untradable. Another quick tip that I wanted to point out is that the Sun Acolyte in the hub actually has a repeatable quest to get bonus cleansed lunar drops, so you might as well pick that up whenever you can. All you have to do is collect 30 tainted lunar drops to get a bonus 10 cleansed lunar drops, which is a pretty hefty bonus. Once you complete the quest, claim your cleansed lunar drops and wait until the daily reset to pick the quest right back up again. Lastly, I wanted to showcase the most expensive item in the shop, since it was pretty much the only item that I wanted from the whole event, and I farmed it up as soon as the event was released. The item is called the Phase Glider, and it has some gorgeous particle effects while it's on the ground, and some bonus particle effects when it's gliding. It also has some very subtle wing flapping sounds when you're turning while gliding, which is pretty neat as well. Considering the fact that this took me only around an hour to farm with my Neon Ninja, it was 100% worth it in my opinion. That's all for this video. Hope it helps you out as you participate in the event. If you enjoyed the video or learned something new, be sure to like and subscribe, as I'll always be putting up these event videos as soon as possible when new events come out. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, be sure to let me know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.